Hi guys, welcome back. So I'm going to be going over my tentative January TBR, and I know we're already a week into the new year, but Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Hold on. Okay, that's a little better. Let's see if she actually stays like that. Okay. But yeah, I know it's already a week into the new year, but better late than never. I look forward to going with you on this journey this year. So first off, my big thing is getting rid of my physical TBR, which is not usually terribly bad. Really, I've only got a handful of physical books I want to get rid of. Not get rid of, finish. Hold on. I actually already finished 2 books. Granted, they were already started, and I actually hoped to finish them before into 2022, but I didn't get that lucky. But I did finish The Luminaries by Susan Dennard, which I really enjoyed. I don't love it as much as her Witchland series, but it is still really good. I think my only real problem is that part of the, I guess, charm, if you will say, about this Hemlock Falls, this place where they're at, is that the people, all their last names are based on the clan they're part of, which is the days of the week. So our main character is Winnie Wednesday, and she would name drop Declan Wednesday or, Asimov Wednesday. Or, it's just like, who are these people? I don't need, especially if it's not coming back, if they're not going to be important to the story later on. It's like, I don't need to know who owns, that the Wednesdays own a cafe, or that the Thursdays own the dry cleaning business. These are things I don't know. Now, the things I did is she would have people who were in luminary communities in other parts of the world, and their last names would be how you say their last names in that language. So that was cool. One of them was Domingo, which I can't remember if that's Sunday or if that's Monday. My Spanish is not great. But yeah, that one was cool. So I did like that. And basically it's the world. I don't know if it's like our world or if it's a world similar to ours, but there are 14 spirits, giant spirits that are asleep. But while they sleep at night, nightmares come out. And it's up to these clans named after the days of the week to take care of the nightmares that come out. And I'm talking vampires, mermaids. They call them vampiras, melusines, use the fancy names for them, but that's basically it. And Winnie and her family got cast out because of something that happened 4 years ago. And so on her 16th birthday, she has the chance to, get back in the good graces of the Wednesday clan. So I really like this. I gave this 4 out of 5, sorry. Now this one, Kaikei. Okay, there we go. Kaikei. I think this might become an all-time favorite. I freaking love this book. It's about a warrior queen in... it's based on an Indian tale. She is one of 3 queens of this Raja, if I remember correctly. And she is the politically minded. And so it follows her and her journey with her family and trying to keep people from going to war and things like that. It's really, really, really freaking good. My favorite part, and this is why I'm feminism is about lifting women up, is that, like I said, she's one of 3 wives. And she and her sister wives get along fantastically. There's a little bumpiness at the beginning, but they're able to get over it. And eventually, they manage to have children basically within 2 weeks of each other. It's a whole thing. You'll have to read. And they raise their children she calls the son of the first wife son. She's he is my son. And, they refer to each other as each other's mothers. It's beautiful. Now, later on, there is a little bit of, contention within that, but it's due to an outside source. So it's the conflict makes sense. And, her journey is so good, and the people around her, and it's such a good book. It's so nice to read a good female protagonist. And she does have some, not great relationships, the relationship with her mother very early on is not great for reasons explained. But it's nice to see true feminism in that, like, she and her sister wives love each other and, like, take care of each other. So, like, 5 out of 5 stars. Love it. Probably going to become an all-time favorite of it. So, like, highly, highly recommend reading it. Okay, those are the two that I've managed to get finished already. Next one I would like to finish, that's mine, that's, is Gleanings by Neil Shusterman. I loved the Scythe series. I know a lot of people didn't love the ending of it. This is the Barnes & Noble special edition. I took the sticker off because I'm like, stickers don't usually annoy me, but for some reason I'm like, this cover is too pretty. Like, fuck off, sticker. I loved the Scythe series. I love the Toll. I know some people didn't love the Toll, but Neil Shusterman has a way of, like, there were no loose ends at the end of the Toll, okay? Like, he got every, like, loose thread by the end of that book. And it's like, it was so beautiful, it was so, I don't know, just made you feel good, or at least it did to me. And so I was happy, I'm happy to pick this book up and read more of it. So basically this world is set in, like, a future where death has been conquered. I hate to say that, but death has been, outmaneuvered, basically, where people don't die naturally anymore. Disease has been gotten rid of, and people can actually wind back the clock, numerous times. There's no, like, you can only go back, like, so many times. But because of that, death still has to exist. So the body that does this is called the Scythedom, which is, named after the blade. People who go around killing them, they're highly respected, but they're also, like, highly feared. And they can choose you randomly whenever, what have you. And it's the trilogy is really about, like, all the, like, good and bad things that come with that. Like, there are people who were corrupting that system. So I highly recommend it. It's a YA series, and I've kind of grown out of it, but, like, it's so good. Like, I have the Scythe series, Arc of the Scythe series, I should say. That's the name of the trilogy. I have it both in physical copy and an audiobook because I liked it that much. And this is just like an anthology of, like, random stories, and already the first one is about Faraday and Marie Curie. So I'm like, okay, like, tell me more. Thank you. Okay, so I look forward to it. So this is one of the physical ones that I own that I want to get done this month. This one I got for two reasons. One, my normal job, which is I work in film and television, and I am an ager dyer in the costume department. Some people will call themselves textile artists or breakdown artists, which I have thoughts about that. That's up to everyone. I am a utilitarian, so I'm like, I'm an ager dyer. It's what I do. And a quick, thing about ager dyers is that they kind of live between a tailor in the costume department and a specialty costumer. Like, we have a specific job, which is to dye things, obviously, and to age things, but we also kind of, like, pick up things that the tailoring department can't really do. I do a lot of painting. I have an airbrush. Like, I use my airbrush, like, a lot, but they, and sometimes they don't, the project is so small they don't want to send it to a specialty costumer. It just depends. We're kind of a catch-all. It's not an easy job. I have thoughts about it, but I wanted to get this for that because I'm interested in learning more about, like, natural dyeing, and I've heard good things about this book, but also because I want to write a fictional book that has to do with natural dyeing. And when I started writing it, I'm like, I have no idea the processes I would go through to start natural dyeing. I know how to use RIT dye. I know how to use RIT dye very well, but I don't know how to use natural dye. So that is what why I want to get this done so I can start, well, and it's also set during the French Revolution, so I need to get those books too, because I know, like, the overall feeling, vibes of the French Revolution, but not, like, the specifics. So this is one of those I'd really like to get done. Like, it's so neat. Like, and the way to get different colors is by adding different chemicals. So, okay, and so one of the things I want to try to get done this month is get caught up it's the Magical Readathon. It's Orpheum. I forget who hosts it. I'll try to put it down in the description box below. Who runs it? I don't know. I don't know if, like, the catching up I'm going to do this month is actually going to be enough. I'm so far behind. I'm like a solid 2 years behind at this point. Well, year and a half maybe, but still. She's made it very like detailed, let's say. So basically, you are a traveler in this world of Orphellion, and one of the things is to read a book with a map in it. And I don't have a book with a map in it at the moment. I forgot that one. So, I'm sure I'll come across one. And this might not all get done this month. The next part of the readathon doesn't happen till April. So I'm just going to let it be for now. I'm not too pressed about it. So I'm like, life outside of reading is chaotic. So, it is what it is. The next is like you're traveling through a spooky forest and you have to read a book with a ghost or a haunted house. So I'm reading The Monster of Ellenhaven. I don't remember what it's about. It's a spooky. It's actually a short little book, which I'm like happy for because you will see there is a thick boy coming down the pipeline that I will definitely not be able to get done this month. All I did was sit down and read it. Maybe. And that's a big maybe. But I have like 100 other things coming down the pipeline that are way more important than doing this. But yeah, The Monster of Ellenhaven is, I don't know, it's spooky. It's all I know is like it's spooky. Yeah, that's gonna fill the spooky prompt. So, oh god, sorry, I slept wrong on my back a couple days ago, or my mattress is just getting that bad, and I have a twinge in my lower back, and it is really painful when I twist, which is a lot because you use your lower back a lot. Okay, you had to choose like which race of people you were going to be. Like there were elves and there were different, something like humans, things of that nature. I chose an earthling, which is person who has elemental magic. I'm also that witch. Oh my god, look at that pun. It's so bad. Please ignore. Basically, earthling was read a book with elemental magic or with an elemental word in the book or series title. So I went with blood, water, paint. Again, these are all books in my TBR to begin with. So like I'm just choosing books that I already want to read. So this, that's how I pick anything for readathons, for TBRs, is it's like, what am I, I'm a mood reader, but from a TBR that's already pretty like diverse, because that's just who I am. You're going to find out real fast that I am just, my ADHD runs hot and fast, and that's why. This one is this kid like loses her mother, and she has a choice to go live in a convent or go live with her father and mix paint. And so she chooses to go live with her father and mix paint. And I'm guessing that's, the relationship and shit she has to deal with. It's written in poetry form, prose form, I guess, if you will. Those are two totally different things, but it's written poetically, like this is poetry, and this is the whole book. And like, I thought about DNFing it because I'm like, this does not seem like my cup of tea. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and like give it a shot. I don't, it's like, it makes sense because sometimes poetry is just obtuse to be fucking obtuse, and I'm just like, your bitch doesn't have time for that. Your bitch is too tired for that. Okay, I'm a 36-year-old woman. Okay, I am too tired for your nonsense and foolishness and your obtuseness. Okay, like, shit or get off the pot. That is like my favorite saying. It's like, shit or get off the pot. So I'm curious to try this. I'm not like super, what's the word I'm looking for? Hopeful about it, but still, I'm willing to give it a shot. God, my lamp is like in the corner. Whatever. Who gives a shit? Like, look at the chaos that is the background of this. Like, I'm moving in about 2 months. Less than 2 months. So, like, all of this is going to get packed up and put away. But here, enjoy the chaos because people live in chaos. All right? Some of this, like, those are some of my dyes. All right? I do have drawing supplies because I did go to art school. Some more dyes. Like, a shit ton of embroidery floss that I have got to find a home for. And these are all projects I'm working on at the moment, or the failed Deadpool dress, which I will have a detailed review about, of like why I failed at it and why I'm actually quite proud of failing at it, because it's like I learned a lot. What was it, Ben Franklin or Thomas Edison, who was like, I haven't failed, I found 10,000 ways that don't work. So it's like, but this is a failure, but I did learn a lot from it. So I will go over that. Okay, the next one is like where you came from, the country you came from within this world of Orphellium. And I chose Carador. Sounded like a bitch in country. That's all I can remember. I am so sorry. I am trying to get this out. My brain is like 100 different places all at once. Again, ADHD. She runs hot. She runs fast. She's a fucking Ferrari. She gonna burn through that fuel in like no time. I sleep hard and yet get not enough sleep. Like, it's a whole thing. Anyway, I did Carador, which the prompt for that was read a book from an ongoing series. So I'm doing Hellbent. I don't have it yet. It comes out Tuesday, so in like 2 days I'll be able to go pick it up. But at the moment I don't have it. And Hellbent is the second in the Alex Stern series from Lee Bardugo. It's a young woman who goes to Yale, finds out there's shit going on behind the scenes, you know. And she's like, oh, she's getting pulled into white privilege, especially white male privilege, and like shit's gone down, what have you. And Alex has always had like special abilities and what have you. So that's my like ongoing. I figured, I'm like, I'm already getting it. Sounds good to me. All right, if you hear all the grunting again, I'm having to twist my back and it's killing me. And I chose the Order of the Crescent, which prompt for that was pick a familiar and try to read a book with it on the cover or one closest to it. And again, my element is water. So I was like, okay, I don't exactly have a whole lot of books on my TBR that have animals first off and water-based animals. Except for this chunky boy. The new annotated H.P. Lovecraft. She thick. She double C thick. Okay? Okay, here's the thing. I know H.P. Lovecraft is a piece of shit. I am well aware. I am not endorsing him. Also, the motherfucker is dead, so it's not like he's getting any, like, residuals from this. But I still want to study him. I still want to know why he's, like, a master of, like, the eldritch being. Specifically, Cthulhu, if some of you don't know, he is the, I think, inventor, or he wrote about a being deep in the ocean that's, like, bipedal, meaning it walks on two legs like a human, but its face is basically a tentacled like monstrosity, and it wrecks and it just wreaks havoc and shit like that. That's why when people are like, it's Lovecraftian, this is the shit they're talking about. And like, oh my god, I'm sorry, she's so thick. Again, I know he is deeply, deeply problematic. I am not here to endorse him, but I still want to read and learn and go into this with a very critical eye. But yeah, it's got the tentacles because I have decided that my witchiness is very much like Cthulhu, deep sea creatures. You know, this shit that it's like, we don't know what's below the sea. 80% of the ocean has not been explored. It's between 80% and 5%. Like, we can't even agree on how much ocean has been explored. Okay? And even if it has been even if only we've explored 20%, that 80% is a lot. 80% is a lot of ocean that we have not explored. Okay, so like, makes me kind of excited. But yeah, that's why this bitch, I mean, like, look at her. Look at this bitch. She is thick. Oh my god. This is the one I'm like, I'm not finishing this month. I will be lucky if I finish it by the end of February, and I've still got so much shit to do before end of February, okay? And right now, I'm not working because production, you know, it's just after the new year, but it was a weird happenstance that a lot of productions ended in October or December of last year. And you might think, oh, well, you know, new things can, no. Wrap takes a month and a half, at least, if not longer, depending on the show. So a show that ends, say, October 31st. Let's just pretend. They still have to wrap out everything. And that can take upwards of a month. And like maybe a show might move in beginning of December. But highly unlikely because then they'd have to pay people. They don't want to pay people for like 2 or 3 weeks. So they might wait till January 1st. And unfortunately, as an age or dyer, I generally do not come in till right before we start shooting, which I hate. Fucking hate with a fiery passion. We are almost always the last person hired and the first person fired, okay? And the fired thing is not like a big deal. When principal photography wraps, that means your job is basically done. You're just wrapping out. I do get paid to wrap out, but you are also no longer employed. Okay. Once your wrap out is done, you are, quintessentially fired. Now I could go get unemployment, but our unemployment system is just hot, sweaty, in the middle of summer, Georgia summer garbage. So I don't bother. The only time I've ever gotten unemployment was in 2020. Okay. When it's like, no, I need the fucking money to survive for the few months between like beginning of quarantine and then I went back to a job or went to a new job. So yeah, that's kind of how it goes. Like, do you enjoy these little like tidbits? I could like sit down and maybe do a little like, here's what I know video. So just let me know. Okay. So that's the Order of the Crescent book. The next one is like pick your weapon. So of course, like we're on a roll. Let's go with the Trident. And the Trident prompt, oh my god, my brain. The Trident prompt was book part of the trilogy. Okay. So I went with Furyborn by Claire Legrand. I've heard good things about this. If I remember correctly, this has been out for a few years. And I remember when it first came out, everyone was like, oh my god, it sounds so amazing. It's about two queens at different points in the history, although they're all part of the same family, who are kind of having to deal with the events. One's dealing with the events of the other one. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. This is a YA series. I have kind of like moved on, I want to say, from most YA series, but I do have a few left on my list, and I'm like, sounds interesting enough. I will say I will DNF a series, or I won't read one because I'm like, this isn't fair to the author that I'm giving them a bad review because I didn't like the book, because I know I don't like YA. I will almost never read YA contemporary because I am well past that age and I'm well past that bullshit. Okay, I'm sorry if you are a young adult and you are still going through that bullshit. Trust me, when you reach my age, which is mid-30s, you're going to look back and be like, it was so stupid, the shit that I like thought was important. And now it's like, I'm an adult. I have way more important things than the bullshit I had to deal with. But yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't hate YA. I just don't think it's fair. If I'm like, I don't like it, why am I, but I'm going to read it and give it bad reviews because I don't like. So like, but I am curious about this one. I've heard good things, so I want to give it a try. Okay, so the last prompt was, and I forgot about it, was was welcome to the school, which I forget the name of the school is. Wow, I was really prepared for this. So the school prompt, is just read a book about a school, and I decided to go with Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow. I mean, I've heard really good things about this. People who like read this have loved this. I've heard very few like bad reviews, maybe some like middling. Some are like, meh, it's good, but it's not really my cup of tea. So I'm like, I'm excited for it because it's also, I like to watch along with the House Salt Book Club, and I'm like, I'm willing to read this. I've heard good things about it. So I'm like, and it's a middle grade. It could be just a fun time. I'm finding that I like middle grades more because like, I think part of the problem, and this has been talked about before with YA, is that adults are writing books for adults, but like marketing it as YA, and I'm just like, then you're not writing teenagers as they should be written. Okay, like I have a real problem with that. But yeah, I finished The Trials of Apollo by Rick Riordan last year, and really like started and finished it last year and really enjoyed it. Like Rick Riordan is one of those, like I've read the entirety of the Percy Jackson series, and I can tell he has evolved as a writer, and I love to watch the journey of writers as they evolve. Like, he was good. You could tell he was good with like the Percy Jackson series, but like he got better with the Heroes of Olympus series, and then like the Trials of Apollo. Holy shit, like so good. So like I'm really excited to read this and see where it goes and see if this will be another new series that I'll like. Like excited for it. HP. So that's it. That's my tentative TBR for the month. Like it seems very ambitious, and it kind of is. Some of those are smaller though, so I can kind of like try and, I don't want to say rush through them, but like try and get through them fairly quickly. I also like ADH spicy brain. I like to watch a lot of TV or YouTube or what have you. So I'm caught up on the dubbed version of My Hero Academia right now, and I'm really like, I know I'm late to the party, but I'm like, well, not maybe late. Like, actually, I was watching it, God, when they were still on, like, the school, not the school festival, but the school sports thing, which was like was it season 1 or was that season 2? I feel like that might have been season 2. But like when that was still all just subtitled. So like, and then I like stopped and I got busy with life, and then I picked it back up and then got busy with life. And now I'm finally up to season 6, which is all just still subtitled, and it's so freaking good. But it's hilarious because it's this generation's like Naruto and Bleach, and like I love that for y'all. But this one's actually coming to an end, and the dude's like, it might be a little longer than you think, the mangaka who writes it. And he's like, it's taking a little longer than I thought, but like, I'm going to end it after this current arc. It is on its final manga arc, so it's going to be done fairly soon, and I'm excited because like shit is hitting the fan with everything going on. So like I'm kind of back into, and kind of a little bit like I binged Spy X Family. I fucking love that show. It's so good. God, I am like your Lloyd fucking fangirl. Oh my god, the shipper in me just loves them. So like, I know this is no longer TBR, but I'm just warning you that if I don't get through the TBR, it's because Spicy Brain was like, no ma'am, we are not reading. We're not making real effort tonight. We need to watch Todoroki be dense. And Deku, who, oh my god, I worry for Deku. I really do. And then go fuck off, Bakugo. Like, you have evolved, but not that much. It's like the bar was on the ground. You're now like an inch off of it. Like, calm down. So yeah, I'm just warning you, like, that might happen. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what your tentative TBR plans are, and like the things that might like distract you from it, which is fine. Life, you were allowed to enjoy more than one thing, and this channel is going to be that now. I'm so sick of being like, oh, one thing channel, when my spicy brain is like, no, we must look at all the things. So that's what I want to do. So I hope going forward you will be happy to join me on this journey. But yeah, let me know down below like what some of your like distractions are, like especially like your current distractions. Again, I'm close to like catching up on the current MHA, but like, oh my god, I don't know, man. I don't know these children. I love them, my children. Class A, Class 1A. Oh my god. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye.